Well, the play, The Weekend, is about a family getting together at the parents' house. I play the father, and weekends and families tend to be a bit fractious, and this is certainly fractious. I have a whole family coming down of a son-in-law that I don't particularly like. I find him boring. I have a daughter who's disappeared off and doesn't seem very happy with things, and a granddaughter who's very bolshy and studentish. And they've got a bloody awful dog which steals scenes that it's in, and it basically leaves all sorts of things around the stage. Stephen's a person who's been married for a long time to his wife, and they're in that sort of relationship where perhaps they don't talk as much to each other as they used to, and certainly there doesn't seem a great deal between them still. He used to be a sales manager. He has an alcohol problem which comes out in stress, basically. So he drinks a lot, and when he's had a drink, then he says things that perhaps he didn't ought to. He hasn't got any friends, he upsets his family, upsets his wife. So that sounds really nasty, but actually it's quite funny, because all these situations always make it funny for people to watch and see how they react under the various situations.
There's a plate on the table with something nasty on it. Look, there, next to your super little Art Deco water jug.
The play is by Michael Palin. Michael Palin, obviously from Monty Python and Voyages all around the world. He's only, I believe, only ever written one play, but he says this was actually quite autobiographical, that the father, which I play, is based on his own father, which is a bit of a worry really, but if that was really what his father's like. He was originally played by Richard Wilson, who played Victor Meldrew, and I never quite see him as a Victor Meldrew, so he's being played as I see, along with the directors. So he's a sort of mix between an occasional grumpy old man, a bit of a manic Basil Fawlty, and a bit Reggie Perrin as somebody disappearing off with his baggage.
What are those?
Figs.
Do you eat them?
No, I use them as bath plugs.
He's an interesting character, and he's on right from the first page to the last, so I hope people like me. Well, the challenges are learning the lines. That's always interesting, but as you get older and as you find that you've actually got 98 pages and you've got at least half of those pages, then that's a lot to learn. And some of it's a bit similar as well, and he has all sorts of emotions. He goes quite morose on some occasions. He has some witty one-liners.
Oh yes, there's a whole evening dedicated to it on Radio 4 the other night. 14 hours interspersed by a little light music.
He has some angry bits, so getting all of that in, and also reacting to all of the other people that's on the stage, because they're all part of his issue. Oh, he has a view on everything. It's not always the right view, but he's developed a view over many years, and he doesn't change it. You could say he's a bit of a dinosaur, but this play's set in the 90s, early 90s, so it's perhaps someone of that era. I don't think there's sort of, well, perhaps it does exist now, but certainly not in as many people. The characters in it are quite large. Myself and my wife, played by Andrea White. Then there's my best friend, Duff, played by Rob Hodkinson, and his wife, played by Suzanne Ilston, my actual wife. But she's having an affair with a foot specialist who she's been to see about some problems in her feet. And as a result of that, then suddenly at our dinner party, which I don't like anyway, suddenly this extra guest turns up, which is this foot surgeon who I can't stand, who's a smarmy guy and really is everything that I hate. As a play, it's a strange one in the fact that it's very much like a situation comedy Christmas special, I think, in the fact that all the characters are there, so they're all nicely in there, and you work your way through it. It happens to be sat in one room. Everything happens in the one room, so there's no set changes as such. And it's that restrictive thing that everybody's in the house together, everybody's got their own egos and their own baggage, and they all clash on occasions, which makes it funny.
I wanted to get involved in something new that I hadn't tried before. I'd done drama years ago when I was 14, and I thought, yeah, it would just be fun to do something after work and get involved in something new, try something different really.
145 to me, and you're on 47?
I think it's a really funny play, and the character that I am, I like because for my first play there's not loads of lines for me to remember, but it still feels like a challenge. Everyone's working together, you're working towards something and you start to care about it quite a lot, so yeah, that's been good. There are tensions pretty much from the moment we arrive. The father of the family is particularly cantankerous, and the interplay between him and his granddaughter is particularly good.
There is no such a word.
Yes, there is. Ex-Quinn. Someone who used to be a Quinn.
It's a really interesting play. All the characters are brilliant in the sense that they've all got little different personalities. The character that I'm playing at the moment is Alan, and he's really interesting because he's so boring. It's really funny to learn his lines and try to deliver them and try and slow it down, try and make it boring, because you want to try and you think you want to entertain, but his lines are particularly dull.
It's a memory expandable time information management system.
Oh, would somebody tell me what the hell he's on about?
He knows every road that he's travelled on to get to the family home, and he recounts it in great detail. So that's been a particular challenge, because you never know if there's someone in the audience who knows the route, who's going to go, no, that's not what that road links up to, that's not the M1. So that's been a bit of a challenge.
Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you.
Oh, it's all right, I was only reading the paper. Come in.
It's definitely not a normal family. Appearances are deceiving. Everybody appears to be one thing, and then as the play develops, you see that people have got layers. Even Alan, in his boring ways, has got his own layers. And you find out things about the parents as the play goes on, and it's what you think of someone when they first arrive isn't necessarily what you're going to think of them when they leave. I think audiences will be really entertained. It's a very funny play. It's got lots of twists and turns. It's a good sized play with lots of different characters who play off each other really well. I think you can tell it's written by Michael Palin. It is funny.